Hey, what's up, guys? Dropship Tyler here, and I am here with my good friend, mentor, business partner, hopefully soon, kind of business partner, Matt Gambrell. Hey, Matt, how you doing, man?
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
So I want to start off by, a lot of people who are already on my channel know who you are and know what kind of numbers you are putting up. But just for the purpose of the video, anyone who's joining us who has no idea who you are, could you tell us how many sales you've done on Amazon and how long you've been dropshipping on Amazon?
Yeah, for sure. So I started. Well, originally I started on eBay. That was like the first thing I ever did. Like back in like 2013. Then I just got back around. I think it was like 2015, mid summer 2015. I started on Amazon. And then from there, just kind of scaled, tried to figure things out. And by the way, guys, I had to figure things out on my own. I thought I invented drop shipping. It was kind of funny because just one day I was like, oh, I wonder if this would, if I could. I saw something on Best Buy that was like super cheap, and on Amazon it was selling for more. And I was like, I wonder if I can, maybe flip this camera or flip this, laptop or something, and then just kind of went from there. But yeah, there wasn't as many resources as there are now, and a lot of people always like to make excuses where it's like, it's harder now than it was before, but that's actually not the case at all. Now there's just so much opportunity and so much, there's just so many resources out there for you. You just gotta be willing to grind it out and do it. But as far as me coming in and what as far as credentials, I mean, I've in the past year and a half or something that we've done, probably I'm responsible for like over $80 million in revenue. So that's a lot. So I mean, I know a lot of people are like that do like private label. I dabble in all different kinds of drop shipping, all different kinds of e-commerce. So it's not just retail arbitrage. It's kind of a combination of online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, some private label, some drop shipping, some private label FBA. We do it all. So I mean, like I like to always kind of like do get myself dirty in a couple different ways, and Amazon is a great way to pivot from branding. Like for instance, if you want to do retail arbitrage, and in the course, this is kind of like with the course itself. This is kind of the idea. It's kind of with retail arbitrage, you're giving yourself an opportunity to gain more and more resources. Okay, you don't want to, just like you don't want to start on Shopify. You never want to start on Shopify first because you don't. Where's the money coming from? Where are you getting all this money to put in for advertising on Facebook? Where are you getting all this money to put in for all this Google AdWords or whatever? I mean, yes, you can split test, but you can lose the shirt off your back if you don't know what you're doing. And it's not really a great, you're not putting yourself in the best place possible if you start off with that. So Amazon is just a great tool for gaining resources, and that's a big thing for this course versus any other course. I remember I started.
Hey, wait! Before we get into all that, we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's all good, man. We want to try to make sure we're flowing in a good direction here.
Right.
If y'all don't know, Matt is going to drop a course tomorrow. Little excited about it, as you can tell by him going off there, starting to talk about it. We don't want to drop that yet. All right, let's talk about. So he just said that he was responsible for $80 million in the last year on Amazon, and I can tell you, I'm in the group with the people and I am one of the people that, he helps with my account. His virtual assistants trained my virtual assistants. So they put my team together. And just to give you an idea, Matt, how many virtual assistants all work on the Green Ventures team now?
Yeah, we have like probably one of the largest teams that I know of. I mean, there are a few others that are pretty big, but it's right around 100 or so.
Yeah, 100 virtual assistants. That's insane. So you can imagine the types of things that he's able to do if he wants to pivot one way. And you also have two virtual assistant managers, correct?
Yeah, we each. So we set it up, and this is a good way because I know that everybody has like virtual assistant courses and stuff like that. I do as well, but we set it up in a way where there's a team leader per each group. So each person that we have a client. They have a team leader, but then we have a manager, assistant manager, and then a operations manager over everyone. So it's set up in like, like I guess a tree, and it just kind of roots off to different.
I mean, it's a legit business. Like
Yeah.
it's set up exactly like a legit business would be set up. So yeah, I mean, that's the key right there, guys, to being successful on Amazon is you're only as good as the team that you put in place. That's the first thing we're going to drop tonight. Matt, would you say that's true?
For sure. And I mean, like I said, when you become like a CEO, you're a CEO of a company, you got to remember the most important thing, you don't get paid to do, you get paid to think. And so if you've seen Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek, that's all he talks about. Some people don't like that book, but I mean, that book is a great book to read in addition to doing this, because the guy, literally goes through so many different ways. He did a lot of e-commerce and stuff, but it's a great mentality of how to, do business and how to think and stuff like that. Because mindset really is like almost 90% of it. It really is. I mean, I know that working, actually, putting in the work and stuff like that, but you got to have the mindset to have the energy to put in the work. It's like if your mindset is tied to the body, to actually doing it and putting it on paper and putting it on your computer, and putting it out there on your stores and stuff like that. So very important to keep your mentality straight. And I know I think I saw a video, you were talking about your mindset as well. Kind of when you first started, you had you were trying to get over the hump mentality from going from a 9-to-5 to an entrepreneur. And it's kind of one of those, it's a rough, foggy period. But once you do it, you really do have the ability to, sky's the limit at that point.
Oh yeah, for sure. Once you get out of that mentality of being a worker bee and instead, being the person that directs where you want things to go and how you want things done, it's life-changing.
Sure.
All right, so right out of the gate here, I had a couple questions because there are a lot of people here who want to hear about the actual specifics of dropshipping, and I know you're going to get into that in your course. So anything that I ask and you say, no, I want to save that for the course, I completely understand, because those of you that watch my channel, you realize I'm an open book. I talk about everything and anything, and I tell you that, my course is just a very organized, kind of guide, or it's a course that's basically my YouTube videos, but in a more organized, condensed, fashion, and it gets to the point directly in every video. So not everyone's like that, and I know Matt might be one of those people, which is totally respectable. Where he's gonna say, "I want to leave it for the course." So Matt, anything I ask and anything that anybody in the chat wants to ask, if you guys have questions in the chat, feel free to leave those, and I will get to those. I'm gonna kind of moderate this whole thing and let Matt answer away, but we'll go one question at a time, Matt. And then we'll just do another question after that, kind of just like, Q&A format, if that's cool with you.
Sure.
All right. My first question for you, because this is the most common question that I get on Amazon dropshipping. How many sales can you do before you have to start worrying about getting a velocity check or them starting to look into your account and saying, wow, this guy's going a little too fast, he just started? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, basically, like if you're doing like anywhere from, the maximum threshold is like, 10, 15,000 within the first, 30 to 60 days. If you start, I will tell you this, because a lot of people are like, don't go too fast, because you're going to go through the velocity check. Once you do go through the velocity check, here's the deal. You are eligible for the buy box. So even if you had the velocity check and you actually had it within the first 30 days, because typically it'd be 90 days if you just kind of like spread it out. It would take 90 days. However, if you kind of hit the velocity check, you would get the buy box earlier. And we're assuming you just started your Amazon account and you got the buy box earlier. You would actually, or you'd be eligible for the buy box within that period of once you had that review. So, but the reviews sometimes can be a little bit difficult, and sometimes like if they're asking for certain things, people struggle, and you just got to be ready to send them the right information. So yeah.
So that's something that you definitely are going to teach in your course, I'm assuming, on what kind of information that they're looking for and how to avoid those types of things. Correct?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. So we got a couple questions already in the chat here. This person wants to know, his name is JM Introspection. He has two questions in a row. The first one being, Do you think Amazon will become saturated like eBay in terms of drop shipping? And I guess it's because he's more worried about people are starting to switch from eBay to Amazon. And there's a lot of YouTubers also that are, they're very new to eBay, but they're already trying to get into Amazon and talk about Amazon on their channels. So, that's going to drive more people. And then the second part of the question is, do you think Amazon will crack down on dropshippers? So first part, saturation. Second part, cracking down on dropshippers.
Okay, so it's kind of hard. Okay, so I'll answer kind of the second part first, just because as far as the dropshippers cracking down, as far as cracking down on dropshipping or whatever, first of all, dropshipping is not illegal, and it's also not if you're doing wholesale dropshipping, it's not against terms of service or private label dropshipping. It's retail dropshipping that's against terms of service, and I say this disclaimer for the course. But again, like the part that's hedging the entire course is I'm showing you how to additionally gain wholesale relationships, statements of authorization, so that you can actually have some credentials while you're doing retail arbitrage. The reason why people do retail arbitrage first is because of the the shipping rates, the handling, the returns. That stuff gets expensive if you look at all of it, and it gets frustrating if you're not able to kind of handle that kind of doing all that. The margins are a little bit better, but still, like those returns and that shipping rates can crush you if you're not able to be able to handle it. What was the first question, really quick?
The saturation aspect.
Yes. So saturation is. I don't really think that's really ever going to be a problem. Amazon's always expanding, like all the time. Like they're always adding more and more products. Even though there's more sellers coming on, I mean, it's also, keep in mind, it's also a really hard marketplace. So the people that are coming on, if you don't know what you're doing, you're off before you even know it. Like if you don't have like the right information, people are like, oh, I'm just gonna grab all this information, I'm gonna do it. Oh, it's a cinch. It is not a cinch. Like it's scaling and making sales and stuff like that, doing listings if you're just piggybacking. That is easy, I'm not gonna lie. But staying on Amazon is a challenge, and people are like, oh, it's so easy or whatever. It's way easier to scale and do listings and stuff like that. Way easier than eBay. But like, what's the hard part is just staying on Amazon, and I put a big emphasis on that for the course, because it can be very, very frustrating if you do not know all the safeguards and stuff like that when it comes to Amazon. Yep.
Yeah, and that's one thing I want to say. Actually, Matt and I had a private conversation the other day, and he was basically saying that on eBay the strategy is to make sales. Like you have to be able to generate sales and create a strategy that generates a lot of sales on eBay. That's they're not kicking dropshippers off. Well, I mean, they are if your metrics are bad and things like that, and you're scamming customers. Yeah, that they're going to kick you off. But Amazon is less about trying to produce sales, because it's so easy to make sales on Amazon with all the traffic and everything like that. As he just said, it's more about staying on Amazon. So that's the difference between eBay and Amazon. eBay, you have to learn how to actually make sales. Amazon, all you do is list on a listing and you'll make sales pretty much if it's the right listing. I mean, yeah, is that right?
It really is. It really is about that. I mean, like, of course you can, do PPC, and you only pay for the PPC if you're in the buy box. People do that. I mean, you can do all kinds of different little tricks here and there. If you're doing private label dropshipping, which I'm dabbling in everything, because the retail arbitrage is just the first series of this like kind of trilogy, if you will, and then we're moving on to some of the wholesale aspects and the private label dropshipping stuff, because I want to just stack it. Okay, so I always like triple threat. We're trying to be assassins. We're trying to make sure that we are as deadly as possible on the Amazon marketplace, but while being while staying on this platform, because it is, having an Amazon account is gold, regardless of what anybody tells you. It is the most valuable thing you can have when it comes to e-commerce, period. Okay, period, because you get that natural traffic that you don't have to basically throw in, like you don't have to pay $10,000 in ads to make 1,000. Okay, it's like that's for Shopify, stuff like that. A lot of people are doing that. I mean, I know people are making a crap ton of money when it comes to their own website, but they're spending a lot too. Okay.
Yeah, Amazon is definitely for the person that wants a very low, cost to entry, kind of like eBay, except as we just said, it's way easier to make the sales. And for those of you guys that don't know, the reason Matt was saying that we want to be assassins, it's not that corny. It's the name of his actual course.
Yeah, exactly.
is the Amazon Assassins. So that is the name of his Facebook group. Actually, Matt, if you want to I'll drop a link in the chat later for his Facebook group. I'll also put one in the description at the end of the video. If you guys want to join that, people ask questions about Amazon dropshipping. Matt answers them. There's a few other people in there that answer them as well. But yeah, so let's move on to the next question. And I mean, we kind of talked about this, but is your store manual? There's not really automation software right now, like with eBay, for example. I use Sale Freaks and it auto orders everything for me. It reprices like the items. Well, I mean, SKUGrid does that, but you get it. It uploads tracking. It does everything, right? Like all my virtual assistants have to do is focus on answering customer service messages, pretty much.
Right, for sure.
So yeah, let's talk about the manual aspect, I guess, because we did touch on it. You said you had over 100 VAs on your team, but
yeah, I mean, for me personally, I mean, I'm all about software. I mean, I love software. That's what I was trying to go to, college for. But the biggest thing though is when it comes to Amazon, there's a lot of fickleness. Like if you're trying, and then there's a lot of moving parts, and then there's a lot of things that can happen if you go too automated. And you want to make sure, and there's like we've used PriceYack before. Like I think they had a program where they had all their automation where it was like auto orders, and you had the gift cards, and you had or you enter your credit cards in, and it just loads through, and once one card's done, it moves to the next card. I mean, that stuff exists 100%, and there is one that kind of works, but they're just not. I don't really like them from some perspectives. Sales Freaks, Tyler, are you saying that they were coming out with one that as far as for Amazon? And then did that one have top cashback or like a cashback site that was this I guess integrated inside of it or that passes through? I
don't know anything about that, Matt. We'll talk about that later.
I don't know. I don't know if it does, but I was just saying that like there's stuff that if you're doing cashback sites, which I'm all about cashback sites. It's a great way to make some extra money. And by the way, you do need to pay taxes on cashback sites. We'll talk about that later. But yeah. Freaking, there's so many different aspects that you need to incorporate when you have when you're doing manuals when you're doing Amazon. And like if my team is not doing it, I don't feel comfortable if something happens. Like what if my credit card? What if there's fraud, or what if there's or refunds? Like maybe you're doing too many orders, and the order limitations per that supplier. They're backing up, and they have to reorder them. A software might not necessarily recognize those moving parts that could happen, and then it can be a big mess, or it could be super frustrating. I just want to make sure that I can get the job done, and with such a powerful platform with Amazon, it's just a little bit. I don't like to take. I just feel more comfortable and more confident having that manual aspect of it. So that's just me personally.
Yeah, and I agree that even when I worked, at a big corporation, and we had new tools come out that helped us automate processes, it's not necessarily to take over your job. It's to help assist you in your job. So, for example, if you're going to use automation software to order products, you still need your VAs to go in and look at the orders and check the orders for you, right? Like it's more of assisting them and making things a little bit quicker for them rather than doing their entire job for them. And that's kind of how I feel about it. But we got a couple questions actually on this particular subject. How much capital, and this is a very vague question, obviously.
Yeah, I know. I already know this is going. Yeah.
How much capital do you need to start Amazon dropshipping?
Okay, for sure. Yeah, so Amazon this is a big part of the course. So remember, I started off in debt, so I have to be able to kind of put the same course together that makes sense for the people that maybe don't have that much capital, or that they're just maybe not in the best place. Big thing that I talk about is credit. When you're doing dropshipping, credit is the same as cash. So you need to make sure you have good credit. And I have credit repair agency resources and stuff like that. I'm going to put that throughout the course. So you need to have good credit. You need to establish relationships with the banks and stuff like that to be able to start scaling and building that. So even if you were in debt, or even if you had no money, just like I did, I had a job. You have to have some type of like income, and I was getting credit cards, opening up credit cards, and then using them, paying them off, and building. I think I started off with a $2,000 credit card. That was all I had. That was it. I think it was like I had a Chase Freedom card, and it has $2,000 limit, and that was it. Like I had a Bank of America card for $1,000. I think that's $3,000. Okay, that's all I had. And then
that was very, just to step in, that was very similar to me when I started eBay. But the thing is I built my credit over the 6 months before I started Amazon dropshipping.
Yep.
So like that was the biggest thing for me was, and that's why I tell people, start eBay, build your credit, build your experience with dropshipping, virtual assistants, all of that. And then it's easier to move to Amazon for that specific reason right there.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's not that you can't go faster. It's just you got to look at it like what the bank's going to give you, and where you are personally with your financial situation, and you got to just kind of understand that. Like it's like, yes, you can work hard, yes, you can bust your butt, but there is a time factor, and as you're building better and better relationships with those banks, and again, I say this all the time though. American Express is the best bank relationship you can have. If you can get it in American Express, which like I was dying to get it. As soon as I got it, like that first card, I was just like, I mean, it was like I was cheering. I was just like, this is like the best day of my life. Like, because American Express is like that's where you get the buying power. Okay, I have over $1 million worth of credit from American Express. Boom, it's right there. So, and that only took 3 years. 3 years to get that. So 3 years. Other banks, I swear on my life, they'll only for the rest of your entire life, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, the rest of your entire life, the max they will ever give you, even if you had $1 million in the bank cash money, they'll probably only give you 100, 200,000 max. And so that's just the reality. So American Express, they really are the best. And I know that some people are. For the people that are super young, you can obviously use, kind of piggyback off, your parents and stuff like that for some of theirs, for their maybe American Express. I know a lot of people that do that. I have a friend that actually does that or did that. And then once he actually, got to a certain age, I think 22, 23, and, he had his own kind of credit. He just got his own American Express and then kind of went from there. So he kind of went that route. That's an instance that you can, probably still be successful or still kind of scale pretty fast at a young age. But it just depends on the scenario. So there's a lot of different, variables and things that can happen depending on where you're coming from. But
yeah,
I obviously be as honest as possible. And Tyler, same with you. So.
Yeah, for sure. So the next question, I mean, this is a little advanced, and this is kind of like how to get started on Amazon. And I feel like people are getting ahead of themselves here by asking, questions like this. But how many accounts can you have on Amazon? And I know the answer. It's one, right? I mean,
no. I'm going to answer that. Actually, yes.
All right, go ahead.
You actually can legally. You can actually have multiple accounts. So you can actually request to seller performance, and you can ask them. Can I have another account? If you have good metrics, you can literally ask them and request it. But they're going to tell you that you can. It can't be the same items. It has to be a different category. It has to be like everything has to be like completely separate, different bank and all that stuff like that. And then they'll be like, yes, you can have another account. But keep in mind, this is important. They're linked. Okay, so they know you have that other account. So that's the thing. It kind of works out better doing that when you're doing like private label. So you have like a different brand here, like if you're doing like, I don't know, beauty on this store, and then maybe you're doing like supplements on this store or something like that, if you had different stuff. But when we're talking about like like how many accounts can you have that are isolated, separate, like if one gets suspended guaranteed, the other one's not getting suspended. Yeah, that's so legally you can actually separate it. So like for instance, if I have legal separate entities that have a different identity on each one. So if I bought an LLC that had an Amazon account attached to it, okay, it might have had a different face to it. Like that, it could have been like Johnny Martin or some random person. I bought his account, and it's an LLC, it's a business entity, but I own it, and then it still has an Amazon account on it. Okay, so I mean, technically, by law and whatever, it's mine, but yet it's still like a separate entity outside myself. So. That's kind of what I do, and it's separate. But I teach kind of how to do it. That you're never going to get suspended. You're never going to get linked. It is a good system. So where you can have different models. I talk about having private label maybe on one, doing maybe wholesale on another one, and then maybe retail arbitrage on another one. You can do that, and to where it's isolated models, so you can it's just all risk management. And I think I think it's really important to be able to have, I guess, to be able to do that. But yeah, you can have multiple accounts that Amazon knows about, but it's not really going to do you that much good. It's kind of because of the fact that, yeah, if they suspend you, you could potentially get suspended on the other one for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, I think my advice as somebody who only has one right now, and I'm doing $250 to $300,000 in sales regularly. I think my last 30 days right now is 225 because I'd slowed down my sales. But for somebody, who's doing that kind of volume, one is perfectly fine for me. And anyone who's just starting on Amazon, and Matt, you've told me before I should probably look into getting a second one just to reduce.
Yeah, we're going to do a second one probably in the next few months. So,
but I wanted to say one is fine when you're just starting. Like, you don't need to get ahead of yourself and try to scale multiple accounts. This isn't eBay where you get limits on your accounts.
No.
Like that's why on eBay I tell people to try to scale 2 accounts at once, because you have to get your limits up. Amazon, you start off, you're good, right?
The only reason why you're doing multiple accounts on Amazon is because once you get to a certain level and you have a lot on the line, you've got a lot of capital into it, you need to kind of be like, all right, let's just in case, let's just say theoretically, just in case I have, maybe a different model, or this account gets temporarily suspended. Okay, even if you get suspended, that's not the end of the world. You can get unsuspended, but if it were to get temporarily suspended, then you can kind of take your energy and put all that energy in that other account and grow that account, and you're not necessarily in panic mode. And so you're just hedging yourself. Okay, just safeguards, and that's all I preach about. It's just you've got to have on Amazon, you got to have safeguards to where you're not always putting yourself at risk. But yeah, so but there's no need to obviously have all these accounts and stuff like that if your first account isn't even doing that good. So you need to make sure you're established on that one account and then move on to the others. So yeah,
makes sense. So the question I saw in here, that's a good question, and I want to go ahead and pitch my VA course, my virtual assistant course. There's a link in the description because we're leading into this question here. There's a link in the description. I have a $20 virtual assistant course on Udemy. If you guys want to check that out, can't beat it. I've seen other courses out there that are $100, $150, probably the same information that you're going to get for $20, because a lot of the stuff that you need for virtual assistants is gained by experience. And I can't stress that enough. You're going to get better over time with virtual assistants the more experience you have. So you only really need the basics starting off, and kind of just someone to give you a little bit of advice on when you should fire somebody, like when it's whatever, the outlets you should use to hire people, all of that stuff. So again, that link is in the description below. But Matt, that leads me into my next question. Where did you find your first virtual assistant? And I have a second part to that question too. How do you hire virtual assistants now, or how do your team managers hire virtual assistants? So yeah, if you could just give us the story of finding your first one and then how it's done now, because I'm sure it's different.
Okay, yeah. So my first one, it was kind of interesting. I had to, hire and fire over 20 different people before I found my first one. Literally, I was just so frustrated, so annoying. I mean, you learn how to, what you want, and you learn how to be a better trainer over time. Okay, so that's one thing, just fact. We were using originally it was Odesk, and then changed to Upwork. That's where we're trying to find the best VAs. But when I was putting out an ad, for me, I was just I want somebody with energy, because regardless of what they know, it doesn't matter what you know. I was just if you have high energy and you're ready to go do it, that's what I'm looking for. I need energy, because I need that momentum. I can train that. I can mold that into something. If I don't care if you're smarter or one of the you have whatever the highest IQ ever, doesn't do you any good, because what are you doing? So when I was hiring, I was looking at it, and the people that were really responsive, how Tyler, this one I'm talking about, when you're trying to hey, what are you doing? Or if you ask the VA a question and it takes 2 days for them to respond, or they get back with you within it takes a really long time for them to get back to you. That pisses me off. If you have somebody that gets back with you within an hour, 2 hours, every time you message them, or even sooner, I'm just wow, this person's really available all the time and ready to go. I love that. So that's
wait, I'll stop you right there on one thing. Dropshipping is a matter of, there's a lot of things that are a matter of urgency. So yeah, that doesn't work if the person's not answering you when you need them to answer. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so that was basically that was a done deal at that point. I was I don't really care. There were some mess ups and stuff like that, but overall, I was I really don't care, because I know that she was able to just work through it, and I was I don't even care, literally, and so that even though there was frustrating times and stuff like that, as we were hiring more and more people, it was just I had more patience when I knew that she was ready to, overcompensate for it. Because I mean, you can mess up. It's kind of like in the game of basketball. You can, turn the ball over, but if you're still playing defense and hustling and stuff like that, I respect that. Like, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and be like, all right, you turn the ball over. Well, you're done. It's like,
yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people, their VAs make one mistake, and they're just like, oh, I can't work with this person anymore. Hey, by the way, Tony Richard just gave me a $1.99 super chat. That is my first super chat. Everyone who, if Tony Richard has a channel, or if he doesn't have a channel, go subscribe to him. Appreciate that, Tony. All right, sorry, Matt. I had to get that in there.
No worries.
Anyway, if you could just tell us the last thing, where did you find the first VA?
Yeah, so
website?
I said it was Odesk, but now it's Upwork, so it's called Upwork. Yeah. So now a lot of people use a couple different other ones. FreeUp is a really good one now. FreeUp is actually they actually come to you. So like you put what you want, and then they'll literally come and you'll get like all these different people coming in through. You'll say if you want them overseas, if you want them in the US. However you want to do it, it's kind of cool.
And now you hire them directly from you have like your team lead put up job posts, right?
Yeah. So so my manager hires them. She'll put out different posts, and then she'll just bring them in, and then they'll actually come in the office and be interviewed, and we'll go through it's kind of like almost like a background check now. And we literally because we're adding we actually have we do benefits and stuff like that for the VAs. Like this is a real freaking business. So they actually have to fill out forms and stuff. So we make it as legit as possible.
All right, dropshipping is a way of life. Dropped a $5 super chat. Sorry, I was waiting for a good time to say that. So far, and Mr. Medina with the $1 super chat. That's awesome. So what is that total? We got $6.99. $7.99. I'm going out and buying a beer tonight with that $7.99 after this. Appreciate you guys giving the super chat. That's awesome. I'm so happy I turned it on because I don't know if you know this, Matt, but I've given Paul and other dropshippers like at least $250 to $300 worth of super chats. So I'm just trying to recoup all of my super chats by me turning it on now.
That's hilarious.
Hopefully Paul will come drop a $99 one soon because I did that for him a couple weeks ago. I literally dropped a $99 super chat. But anyways, just to get back to what Matt was saying, I want to give you guys a little recap because there was a lot of information there that, that's pretty crazy how it's kind of developed. So yes, he did do what we're doing now. The people that are smaller and they need to be able to hire VAs through one of the sites that kind of already vets the people for them. Because there are ratings and everything like that on there, that we can look at. He hired his first one from there. He's gotten to the point where literally he has a team leader that puts job posts out for him and has the person come in and interview the people face to face. How amazing is that he has, that level of trust with his team lead, office manager, whatever you want to call her, and your right-hand woman pretty much. I mean, I know who this girl is, and she does, everything that you can do. And not saying she does it better, but, probably on the same level. And, so now anytime he wants to expand his team, it's that easy. And he's like you said, it's a real business, you said they have, like, benefits and stuff, or is that, like –
I literally, I got everything set up, as far as my incorporation. It's kind of like that's considered a branch. So the Philippines office is considered a branch of my incorporation. So that's how it works. And probably midway through 2019, we're trying to get a bigger office building. We already do have an office building, if you didn't know that. But I'm just saying, because I've actually been there. But we're probably going to get a bigger one that we can kind of scale up. So we'll see what 2019.
We have Paul J. Lipsky dropping a $20 super chat. Paul J. Lipsky, nice. That's awesome. All right, Matt, dude, you got to come on here more often. I'm making money with you on here. This is awesome. All right, sorry to interrupt you, man. Anyway, actually, I want to say this. So I said earlier there were a lot of YouTube dropshippers that were talking about Amazon now that kind of just started and whatever, and they're transitioning. Honestly, I will say I was not including Paul in that. He is talking about Amazon dropshipping now. but I do think that he does have, good enough experience to be able to actually talk about this. I'm talking about other people out there. You guys probably know who I am, or who I'm talking about. But anyway, I'm not going to say names because then it leaves it vague,
Right.
There's like 3 or 4 people I can think of off the top of my head. But anyway, payability. This is a big question. Big question is payability. So what do you need to qualify for payability? A. B, I don't use payability anymore. Do you still use payability, Matt?
I still use payability because I have obviously I have 3 accounts. So it's a lot of people are like, why do I still use payability? If I didn't have, 3 accounts that I use and had, obviously I'm pumping like, 500,000-600,000 on, on each one, basically. If I didn't have that, it just wouldn't really make sense. So each one is basically like sitting there doing a ton of volume. And the way I set it up, it just makes more sense to kind of isolate it and let each payability flow. Plus, I'm also locked in at 1%. You can actually, there is a secret like 1% for the total sales, my total sales as far as the fee. So it's not that bad. 2% is kind of it's kind of tough, but it is worth it to kind of in the long run to get to the 1% fee. I know that Tyler, were you at the 1% fee when you were using it? Just curious.
No, I was at the 2% fee, and I actually spent last year. I believe I spent 28,000 or 38,000. One of those two. I have to look it up. But anyway, that's how much I spent on payability fees. And so I got to the point where I had the capital and I had the credit lines, and I was like, "There's no point in me doing payability anymore." But anyway, I want to say one thing real quick. Oh my God, we just got 2 super chats back to back of $10. Dropshipping Moose. And Rakin Profit is in the house.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna butcher this, but I love how he does this. Rakin from rakinprofit.com. All right, sorry, I probably just didn't do that any justice. But if you guys watch his channel, you know what I'm talking about. And yes, Mr. Medina, I am having a drink because it's Friday. It's my first full work week in my brand new house. I'm excited. I'm going out with my girlfriend after this to get a drink. So I figured, I had a couple Blue Moons before I got on. Why not have one? Why not have one while I'm on here? Keep everything going. But no, I don't drink like every night. It's literally because it's a Friday and I'm celebrating my new house, celebrating getting on here with Matt, all of that. So anyway, I think Rakin Profit actually loved my my thing I did with the rakinprofit.com. But anyway, let's get back to it. So I want to see if there was any other good questions here. Oh wait, we were talking about payability. Sorry, I cut you off, man. I was so excited about all these super chats I'm getting. So we were talking about payability. Where did we leave off here?
I'm trying to remember. So as far as I will say this on the qualifications. I know that some people have actually been saying my name, like they're like, oh, I've been using your training or whatever, and they've been getting it qualified ahead of time. Like I know they have like certain requirements as far as being like 6 months or whatever, but you can negotiate through that. Like even if it's like a certain sales history, like I think it's with payability to get the 1%. I think it's 8 if you have a 18-month sales history. $100,000 or $100,000 a month or $100,000 total. I forgot what the actual number is, but essentially you can get you qualify for the 1% fee instead of having to pay the 2%. But I know that if you can kind of name drop a little bit, I know that's not necessarily like the always the best way to do it in every business, but you can use my name and sometimes they'll be like, oh, we'll see what we can do or whatever. And try to qualify you, and you might actually qualify as well for the 1% a lot quicker if you have payability now. You might be able to be like, hey, trying to scale up and whatnot, and just kind of word something creative, and you might be able to kind of move to the 1% just by saying my name. So that kind of does kind of help because they make a crap ton off of me. Like they make literally like so much money off of me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I remember you told me that to name drop you, and I did, but they only gave me 1.5%. So
that sucks, dude.
Anyway, yeah. So, dude, I don't know what's up with all these super chats. Thank you, men win for the beer money, 10.97. That's awesome. God, dude, this is crazy. I have a 20, a 10, a 10, and a 10.97. All in here. Matt, we need to go live every night, man. Oh man, you guys are awesome. I really am so grateful. That's amazing. All right. Sorry, Matt, I'm not going to share this money with you.
That's funny though.
I have to pay for my new camera. So
Yeah. Payability is important. I mean, like I said, it is a part of it that even if you have, let's just say there's a lot of different aspects. So I talk about resources. So I just like to have stuff on deck, regardless if I use it or not. Like I have like $120,000 of cabbage on deck if I ever need it or whatever. Let's just say I want to do private label at any given time where I just feel really hot. Like I'm doing private label drop shipping and I'm feeling really hot. I'm like, all right, cool. This is a hot product. Let's go in. Let's go in. We're gonna like dive into this product. So I like to have money on deck at all times. I mean, it just feels better. That way you can be aggressive, or you can be a little bit more passive and just like see through the lines and make sure you make the right decision at the right time. So payability is great. It just rotates your funds to you quicker. And this is the thing, though. This is the one thing I want to say. If you're rotating your funds quicker, Amex, like if you're using American Express, is going to see that you're moving those funds quicker. So they're most likely going to extend your lines faster. So even if you had to temporarily use payability, it's only going to help you get more credit line faster from American Express. And then once you do get those lines from American Express, you can cut off payability and you don't have to use that fee. And remember, American Express isn't going to charge you any fee. So you don't have to worry about that at all. So that's the one benefit. If you're looking at it like a crutch or training wheels or whatever, you have that ability to have that as a temporary. So everything needs to be temporary. This is a whole thing. Like, retail arbitrage is temporary. Maybe you want to do it, the rest of your life and have another separate account, whatever. Well, it's just giving you, momentum, and then you can get your own brain, and then you can, talk, like, do so many different things. The choice, the world opens up to you when you have more capital. Okay, you have so many more options at that point. So that's a big part of the course that I really, try to bring out. So yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Payability, it definitely is something that's good for beginners, it sounds like. But once you build up those credit lines, especially with the Amex, may not be as necessary. I will say, I mean, it's helped me a lot at the beginning. But again, like I said, I didn't want to spend that extra money on that stuff going forward. When I say that stuff, I mean the payability fees. What's interesting too, actually, we won't get into that. I was going to bring up something about how the payability fees are actually more than they say they are, but we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about that, later.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So yeah, that's more like advanced, and that has to do with kind of the strategy we're doing. So we won't talk about that. But all right, so Joe, $10 for your camera. Appreciate it. I only need 60 more of those. What's crazy today, Matt? My dog, she was messing around. She came in the door. She knocked over the tripod with the camera on it, and it fell towards my desk. So I caught it, but it hit the USB cord. The mini USB hit the desk, and now I literally bought a $600 camera yesterday, and now I have to kind of jiggle the USB cord for it to work. I mean, my dog is so. What's that?
So it broke, or is it just
It's not broken. No, I have to fit the mini USB or the micro USB in there absolutely perfectly for it to not freeze, because it gets disconnected from the camera, and the computer get disconnected because of the fitting of the micro USB. And literally my dog did that the day. Yeah, exactly. It's working good so far for this live. But it was freezing before, and that's why we were kind of late coming on here, because I was having that issue. So yeah, very. Got another $5 super chat from Jeremy. Jeremy from the mentor group. He's in my eBay dropshipping mentor group. Appreciate that, Jeremy. Really do, man. Thank you. But yeah, so let's see what other questions. Sorry, we've gotten so distracted with these damn super chats, Matt. I'm gonna have to turn them off going forward if I keep getting money. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna turn them off. This is too good. But it seems like Home Depot and Walmart are the top sources for Amazon dropshipping with good cashback. What are some of the other good sources to use? That's a great question.
Yeah, another good source obviously is going to be that we use is Overstock. Overstock is really good. So I talk about this in the course. We use the coupon trick, coupon stacking, and there's obviously a certain way to do that. You're stacking. You can use gift cards, or you can use the 3% Mastercard. But you can also kind of get some of the cash back. Like some of the cashback sites will pay you, but with Overstock, Top Cashback sometimes pays you, sometimes they don't. It's like literally like 5 to 10% of your of the sales or whatever. We're trying to dabble in, you know, Mr. Ebates and some of the other ones for Overstock, because in the long run that actually might pay out better. But Overstock's a good one. I don't really like to go too. I mean, I'll talk about it, you know, in the course on all the other resources, but like that's probably one of the only ones I really trust. With the thing about it with with dropshipping is I don't really like to go too far outside of the box, because I've already done that. I've done Sears, I've done Kmart, I've done Wayfair. Wayfair actually back in the day I had a business relationship with, and I was talking on the phone with the CEO, and he canceled my business discount, and I was just so pissed at him. He's just like, yeah, we're. At first they were like, yeah, we're gonna lock you in forever, and everybody else is getting locked out, but we're keeping you, bro. And I was like, thanks. And then then they were just like, no, we're not gonna do it anymore. And I was like,
what source was that?
What is it?
What source was that you said you had?
Wayfair, yeah. So I knew the CEO about it. He was just like, because they were like, obviously, if you know, Wayfair actually does the wholesale drop shipping. That's not 80-90% of their model, their business model. And I talked with him. He actually told me all the stuff that he does, and like he told me a lot of stuff. So and I have a person that used to work for Wayfair, and he explained a lot of the stuff that he does as well. But I got a lot of information from him from that conversation. But it was just so frustrating when he freaking like cut me off from that business discount, because we were making some great money on patio sets, gazebo stuff. I mean, all furniture. I mean, furniture has always been a big thing for me. Like, I know some people make money on when it comes to electronics, but now you can't sell electronics. Walmart cancels them, and it cancels when you have too many issues. So, and regardless of if you're selling electronics or not, the customer service side of it is just a pain in the butt. Even if you could sell it, I just don't like to deal with all that, that crap. It's just like, this doesn't work, the button's stuck, or just like there's all kinds of stuff that can happen. It's just like,
I mean, I'm the same way with eBay. I tell people not to sell electronics.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the butt. With furniture, it's so easy. It's just like you got your couch. I mean, you don't know what the couch is really like. You don't know what a couch is really worth. If you look in your house, it's like how much is that like couch that you have, or that the love seat, or that lamp or whatever. You don't know how much it is. So it has a better perception value of like what it's worth. If someone buys a laptop or whatever, they're always like nickel and dime. It's just like, oh, this is $100 cheaper, and it's just like, I want to do a return, and then they're just going to return it and try to get it like at another place or whatever. Usually with furniture, it's also less returns and stuff compared to electronics, just from a price perspective. So I've always liked it. It's just way easier.
Yeah. So this person has a question about private label versus retail dropshipping on Amazon.
For sure.
So he says, is the money all in retail? Is it worth breaking the terms of service? Am I losing out? He says loosening out, but am I losing out by trying to dropship private label and move to FBA from there? So if he's just focusing on private label dropshipping, is he missing out on retail dropshipping? And is it worth it to break the terms of service for retail dropshipping?
I mean, again, everything has. I mean, if you're in business, everything has some slight bit of risk, anyways. I mean, you're never like, there's never a guarantee, and there's never like a business model that's just straight up risk free. So I will just say that just so we are all clear, I will say that. Is it worth it? There's no wrong way. Like if you're doing private label and then you're doing private label FBA, that's 100% awesome. Like I'm not going to ever say that that's the wrong way to do it ever. I'm just saying that when I doing retail arbitrage, and with all the information that I know now, it is pretty much hedged as far as all the risks that are involved. So that way it's really not going to be as, like, I know that a lot of people that do courses and stuff like that. Since I've seen, and remember this, I've managed over 20 accounts, so I can see all the little factors that other people that are doing courses can't see. Like I can see how fickle Amazon really is sometimes on certain accounts that are older or newer or whatever. I can see all that. So I'm bringing that into the course and saying, and explaining that and being like, all right, well, depending on when you open the course or depending on when you opened your account, this is what you may or may not see. And there's all kinds of little factors, but to say that you're missing out, no, you can totally do both at the same time. But the main reason why you do retail arbitrage is to gain more resources, because there's a guy, and I just want to use this as an example. There's a guy that did retail arbitrage first, and that's all he was doing. He was doing retail arbitrage. He was getting a lot of credit lines, a lot of resources, and he kept scaling until he got like $100,000, $200,000 worth of credit lines. Then he was like, okay, I'm done with retail arbitrage now. So I have $200,000. I think he had like a $50,000 cabbage loan. He had like a 100,000 on American Express, and then he had a lot of resources. And then I think payability, he actually had a loan for like another 50,000, so $200,000 right there. So from that, he had those resources, and then he was like, okay, now I have the money to just do private label. So he did private label drop shipping and also private label, FBA, and then that's just all he does now. So
that sounds pretty risky to take loans to do FBA, but
no, I would never do no. But I would never do private label FBA off of a loan. I would do private label drop shipping first, and then make sure that you're selling it, and then make a plan of attack of how much to buy to put into FBA, so that you're never ever putting too much in. Because I've been that guy. Trust me. The biggest thing that effed me last year was I went too deep in FBA, and I got an account suspended, and that had FBA in it, and I was just like so pissed. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then I've had everything that the worst case scenarios have always happened to me. Like literally they have happened. So that's why I'm like very anal on certain things. I'm like, well, this happened. I've gotten effed in so many different ways. It's just crazy. But you want to make sure if you're doing private label dropshipping, you want to make sure it's selling, and you want to make sure it's it's ranked, and you're buying a certain amount and then scaling from that profit and putting that profit back into it. Okay, you're not taking money from the bank at that point. Like but you have the ability to scale a little bit faster. But you want a plan of attack that works and makes sense, so you're not going to take that money and just lose it. Because I've also seen somebody that took like American Express, his like $50,000 worth of American Express, and put it in the FBA. He wasn't selling it fast enough, and he ended up losing all $50,000, and then he defaulted on his credit, and then ruined his entire credit, whatever.
One thing I do like about the private label drop shipping is the fact that you verify that there actually is demand for the product before you send a bunch of inventory into FBA. Because I know it seems, guys, like these ads out here act like if you pick the perfect product the way that they tell you to do it, then FBA there's no failing it. But private labeling, from what I talked to, you're probably not gonna be winning on your first product. And you can. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm just saying it's a lot riskier than what people say it is. That's just my 2 cents.
There's risk on everything, but like there's obviously ways, once you have other people's experience who have been doing it, and it's very important to be just in the whole like environment of like other successful people that are doing certain things you want. So if you want to do branding, if you want to do maybe wholesale or whatever, you need to be just involved and network, and just networking is a big thing. So as more you're networking with other people and teaming up and stuff like that and whatnot, it's very important. And I have so many courses, it's ridiculous. I'm always trying to improve myself and make sure that I'm staying on point with new things that I want to get into and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right. So one question here. Let's just run through a bunch of quick. We'll do quick answers for these questions so we can get through the rest of them before the next 10 minutes, because that's when we're getting off here.
Yep.
But so quick question. Tyler used Jungle Scout and Web Scraper software. What software is Matt going to be using for his course while training? So I don't use Web Scraper. I use SKUGrid. A. B. Matt, you use SKUGrid as well, right?
Yep, SKUGrid. And I am going to be doing a kind of a part 2 for that, like where we're using Web Scraper app. One of my newer accounts, I'm going to literally be building up from scratch using Web Scraper app. And it'll be part of kind of like some of the videos that I'll be adding to that course, and obviously some of the Facebook group as well. So I'll kind of be going through, and I'm just so everybody knows, I know how to use Inform, guys. Like I have a couple clients that use e-com solutions and stuff like that. I know how to use Inform, so we have a strategy that works pretty well. That's the one thing that I've used other softwares and stuff like that. I've actually used SKUGrid along with Informed. That's kind of cancer in a way, because you don't have something that's connected or linked together that's going to track the source pricing and the buy box pricing simultaneously, so that you're not going to lose money or have the out. It's just like you're trying to gain more buy box time, and obviously if it's a smart repricer. So if it's once you're in the buy box, it's going to try to slowly raise the margin so you can get more profit margin out of it. but like, it's just, you want to make sure that that software is linked to the source so that you're not going to lose money from your supplier, because then you're pretty much you're effed. So that's a big deal. And you want to make sure that those softwares are on point. So.
All right, so this person, I'm going to answer this question. He says, how do you keep your VAs motivated to keep working? I already typed in the chat. I told you guys money. Money is the key to keeping and treating them like they're actual people. So treat them well and pay them. That's how you keep your VAs motivated.
Another thing I'll add to this, you can set up structures that are really good. I think Tim Ferriss was talking about this when he was in his book, but you can set up structures where you're doing something like a bonus structure. Based on maybe how much sales you're doing per month, you can say, you make an agreement with your VAs. If we do this much sales or this much profit extra this month compared to last month, we'll give you 5% of the, or not 5%, 1% or 0.5% of the profit or of the sales. However you want to do it, you can maybe make an agreement like that, and that might motivate them and get them to want to work harder and make more money for you if they're doing the listings or whatever they're doing. So yeah.
Cool. So Dropshipping is a Way of Life says, thanks to both of you for subscribing to my channel. I think he's talking about someone in chat. So guys, go check out Dropshipping is a Way of Life's channel. He follows my channel pretty closely. Every time I do a live, I see him on here. So definitely thanks for the support. Dropshipping is a Way of Life. Think about getting a shorter name so that I can say it, more often. But anyway, it's a good name. It's a good name. Dropshipping is a Way of Life. You got to make it your life in order to succeed at this business. That's for sure. Brooke Sands, who is actually from this girl, Brooke Sands, Matt, is actually from where we're from. She's from Charlotte. Okay. She says, and that's the person I told Brooke, I said I sent a screenshot at the beginning of this. She said she was missing or leaving dinner early to come watch this chat. So I appreciate that, Brooke. She says, sorry, clarification for a newbie. Do Sale Freaks and AutoDS offer the same services? Or Sale Freaks is better for Amazon seller? Yeah, if you're just selling from Amazon to eBay, Sale Freaks is definitely the better choice, 100%. All right, so but if you're going to use other sources, use Sale Freaks and then use other software for those other sources. All right, so let's see what else we got real quick, because like I said, I wanted to wrap it up. Matt, did you eBay? Okay, so I'll answer this format just so we can get it done quickly. He did start on eBay dropshipping. He said that at the beginning of the video, and then he moved to Amazon later on. And I know for a fact, and at one point, Matt was ordering stuff from AliExpress and shipping it out himself on eBay. Yep. All right, so let's see what else we got. Anyone got any last minute questions that are worth us answering? I'd appreciate that. And Gary Y says, Tyler, which course is your full Amazon dropshipping program? Does Matt have one as well? Gary, I do not have a dropshipping course. And Matt is actually dropping one tomorrow, we hope, because that's what he promised us. Matt, can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be dropped, and keep in mind though, like it's gonna be a full month, like a solid month before everything is really like edited perfectly. So I mean, it might be some of the stuff might be like the full video, and then you'll see it completely edited out, because I like there's just so many aspects that I wanted to cover, because there's just here's the thing, like there's so many things that people just like when people see money, they just see the money, and it's like, yes, like there's money, but like you got to protect it. You got to there's so many things that. There's so many factors, and I want to make sure they're all in there so that like you're definitely equipped to do it, because otherwise retail arbitrage is a risk that I wouldn't necessarily take again if I didn't have knowing all of the things that that I know. And so but since I do, and I've said this a million times, it is pretty much going to be just as equal to anything out there.
In terms of risk, you're saying?
In terms of risk, yeah. In terms of risk, I mean, you're literally knowing everything. And so it's like, because that's the one thing over time, you just get better at staying on Amazon. You get better at just like adapting. So it's like, that's the one great thing about, like, I'm a professional problem solver. That is like that is who I am. Like, and as a business owner, you need, and if you're taking the course, you need to be that too. Like, you need to learn to figure things out on your own. So you have to find it and dig it out of yourself to be able to if you get suspended, you're not going to be like heartbroken. You have to just be like patient and understand, okay, I'm going to figure this out. And then when you get unsuspended, you get like almost like a superpower of like, man, I did it. I figured this out. I had the patience. I had the discipline to just get through it. And I'm okay. And you're not, it's not the end of the world. So you get a toughness from being a business owner, and that's something that I want you guys to also be in understanding. And it's something that it's never the end of the world. Bad things are going to happen in your business. Like it's nobody is going to sit there and be like, man, this is just a walk in the park. Like I didn't have one problem in my business, and now I'm a millionaire. That is never the case. No matter what training you have. But remember,
it's so true though. What you're saying, like just to reiterate what you're saying, and because I'm seeing this in my mentorship group right now, there are a lot of people who have a couple issues, and then they just freak out and think it's the end of the world when really it's time to move on and just keep moving forward at all times. Work through the issues and everything. Like you said, you're a professional problem solver.
Yeah. And the next thing is remember, I mean, and this is the point of the course. You don't have to learn from firsthand failures. That's very important. Remember that. That's why you pay for courses. People are like, oh, I can get that for free. I'm giving you free, like this is like showing you how not to go through the dishes I went through. I had to do it. Like I had to go through and spend, all this time, money, like legal stuff, taxes. I had to figure out all that crap myself. Okay. So it's like, regardless of somebody else did it or not, I did it. Okay, so that's just like I'm bringing that value from the get-go, and it's important to be able to learn from other people's failures and not yourself, because that saves you. That if you experience all the failures, like that's going to really slow you down, and that might cause you to quit. Not everybody is that type of person where they're just like, I'm a no matter what person, But if you can learn from other people's failures, you don't have to go through all this craziness, and you don't have to put yourself out there in this and feel like you're always like, I mean, I have to pull another all-nighter. I have to do this. It's like, you don't have to do that. I had to. Okay. When I first started out, I mean, I was like 4 hours of sleep every single night, 7 days a week. Like it was ridiculous. So I mean, and you know that too, Tyler. You know that too. Yeah. You were just like that. Yeah. So you know that too. But now I don't have to do that. So like that's the beauty of it. Like I mean, every business owner that had to kind of start off, they all have that struggling period of just like grinding it out. But if you can just learn from other people's and be a better, be better at taking all that reverse engineering. You're reverse engineering, taking certain things that are just and apply it take the positives and apply it to your business, and then be able to move on and just grow that much quicker. So I'm saving people years of just time and just busting their butt. Okay, that's right.
I wasn't a huge advocate for courses when I was first starting off, because I did learn it all on my own, and I felt like by learning it all on my own and going through the hardships of everything, it makes me a better person now, and I know more about my business. But at the same time, if you can just pay somebody to learn all the mistakes and everything like that, I mean, I do agree now. You're not going to get the 100% experience that you or I got by learning everything from scratch, but you're going to get 98.7%. I just threw out a random number there because I love that station.
Right. So the whole Vince Lombardi, the harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. So it really is. The more you put into a business, like if you put into like a certain amount for an investment, you're going to be more. You're going to put it on yourself to really do well. But if you're putting blood, sweat, and tears into a business, you're going to really want to. That's making you want to be like no matter what happens, you've come this far to quit now. So that's the one thing that by even still learning some things firsthand or going through some failures, it is good. There are some positives in that. So, and you're going to get that regardless. There's no way you can just be like, I'm going to avoid every failure and every problem ever. I mean, it's just like this is just a joy, walking park. Just like I said, you're still going to have those problems. So that's.
All right. So sorry, I gotta cut you off because it's about to be 10:10 and I gotta go. But one last thing, just one word answer. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to tell us why. But do you have a book? Someone wants to know, what book would you recommend for to have a very good mindset of? It doesn't have to be Amazon related, just a business book in general to get the right mindset. What's helped you the most to build your business?
Well, no, I just mentioned the book, obviously, the 4 Hour Work Week. I like the Grant Cardone book, 10X. or the great.
That's two of them. You got to pick one that everyone should go read right now.
The reason why I like the 4-Hour Workweek, I literally, as I was reading it, I was like this is so ironic, but it really is the best book because as I was reading it, like the first time I read it, I was like flipping the pages and go through the chapters. I was like, I'm doing that, and then I was like, I'm doing that too. I was like, did I write this? And it was like the greatest book I've ever written. Like
you related perfectly to him.
Grasshopper will up, it's a site for like having like an automated 1-800 number, and I was like, I'm doing that. It's like all these different things. Like it was just so funny. So that's a great book because he uses specific examples, specific websites that you can use, and it opens your mind to certain tools that you can use. And even if it's not even that specific tool, you can Google and find tools like that tool. Even if it's outdated, because the book is an older book, but even if it's a little bit outdated, you can find tools that are similar and then find that new one. Because there's always a new, bigger and badder software coming out every 2 seconds. So,
Dang it, Matt. I knew I couldn't get you for a one-word answer. I knew
it. Dude, I'm sorry. All right.
I said a one-word answer. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to drop a link right now to the Amazon Assassins Facebook group. And I just want to say thank you, everyone who has joined the live for this long. I appreciate it if you were here from the beginning, and anyone who joined throughout, thank you very much. And if you're watching this later on, definitely look in the description for the links that I'm about to throw in the chat. I'll pin the comment with the links, all of that. Hopefully I can announce tomorrow night that Matt has finished his course. If not, hopefully soon after, but check the description for my $20 virtual assistant course. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Matt, thank you so much for coming on, man.
No problem. Glad to be here.
All right, guys. Everyone, take it easy and have a good night.